Chapter 5. A large sign stood before the colony, showing an artist's rendering of a lush green environment, featuring children playing, animals frolicking, and a bright, warm atmosphere. This couldn't have been further from the truth, for the buildings that lay behind the sign were grey and black, angled metal that looked like they'd been dropped from orbit. The only colour was on several neon signs, one advertising a bar and another a strip club. The group reached one of the entrances. Owen opened the control panel and opened the door. The two clones and Lex took point, and they entered the colony. "Blaine, take point," Ryuk ordered, and Blaine moved into the colony. Snidge moved forward, but Ryuk stopped him. "The array's controls will be in the control room. It may be easier to access the computer room and access the system that way." Snidge watched the first group disappear around a corner. "Understood. What are your orders if we encounter colonists?" Ryuk took a moment to think about this. Then he realized he had no choice. "Exterminate them. But do it quietly." Snidge followed after Blaine, hoping he would find some humans to play with. Ryuk took a breath and entered the colony. The door closed behind him. The colony was empty, but untouched. Equipment lay around everywhere. Doors were unlocked, food left half-eaten. Owen was feeling more and more nervous by the second. He turned to Lex. "Are you detecting anything?" Lex rechecked his sensor. "Negative. The only life signs present belong to our group." Before Owen could answer, Owen's communicator beeped. Owen raised his arm and pressed the flashing button. "Mendez?" "Owen, found anything?" Ryuk asked. Owen looked around. "No. It says everyone dropped what they were doing and left. Your Dalek says he hasn't detected anything unusual." "Same here. How long does it take for a command terminal to switch to power saving mode?" Owen frowned to himself. Why was Ryuk messing around with command consoles? "About half an hour if untouched. What are you doing?" "We found a computer lab where the terminals were on." "We will come to you. Stay put." Owen cut the communication. "Lex, if you wouldn't mind." Owen gestured down the corridor. Lex took a moment to process what Owen meant, then suddenly realized and moved ahead. Owen turned to Cirrus. "We may have an issue. The first chance you get, input a lockout command on a security terminal, level 6. Cirrus nodded, and then they followed after Lex. The lab was smaller than Owen thought. Ryuk was looking through some folders when he noticed Owen's group enter. Ryuk put the folder down and joined his brother. "This is how we found the room. It's the only room that looked like anything happened." Owen looked around. Terminals were knocked over, one or two were smashed, but there was no blood. Then Owen remembered what Ryuk was meant to be doing. "I don't see any materials here." Ryuk could feel Owen's hostility intensify. He instinctively hovered his hand near his blaster. "We found some. Trip is setting up a cargo transporter, and I thought it best to investigate while we wait." Owen squared up to Ryuk. "Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You want access to our security network. I won't allow that." Ryuk couldn't help but laugh. So his brother wasn't as dumb as he feared. "Oh dear brother, it's too late for that. I already have access, and before you ask, you aren't to blame." Owen's heart raced. This was getting out of hand. The group's attention was diverted by a large door opening. Ryuk looked around. No one was near any of the terminals. "Anyone claiming responsibility for that?" No one did. Drawing his weapon, Ryuk ventured into the room, followed by the two clones. Owen hung back for a moment, processing what Ryuk had just said. The Eden Alliance had long been able to detect Dalek agents. It was one of their few advantages over the Daleks. But how had Ryuk managed to gain access to their network if Owen wasn't responsible? Was there another Alliance officer helping Ryuk? Willingly? This was a subject for a later thought, Owen decided. He followed the group inside. The narrow corridor led to a wide open space filled with equipment, some of it isolated by transparent walls. In the centre of the room was a raised section that contained 3 large consoles. Ryuk was standing at one. Owen rushed to his side. "Don't touch anything," Owen ordered. Ryuk gave him a look. "Again, too late for that, brother. Besides, this system is locked tight." Lex surveyed the room. He found several tables with surgical equipment above them, a stack of containment jars filled with a blue liquid. Then he came to another large door at the end of the room. He looked through the door and turned back to Ryuk. "General, over here." Ryuk joined his sub-commander. and looked inside. He could make out 4 large boxes. He tried the control panel, but the door refused to open. They looked like livestock transport containers. You can see the monitors for showing the animals' vital signs. But these looked like they've been reinforced. A nasty thought suddenly hit Ryuk. There aren't any nasty creatures on this planet, are there? Owen was trying to unlock the console. Not that I'm aware. This blasted system! Why are scientists always so protective of their work? Lex had moved up quietly behind Owen. Allow me. Owen jumped. Don't do that. Lex connected to the console and started working. You won't be able to do it. These are triple encoded. Before Owen could finish, the 3 consoles unlocked and the system was accessible. Owen looked shocked, but Ryuk laughed. Never get between a Dalek and an encrypted computer system. It's like a game to them. I have unlocked 85% of the system. The rest is using a rotating encryption. Rejoined Owen. Continue. We will see what secrets they have to surrender. Owen began reading through the database. He laughed nervously. So, there are nasty creatures on this planet. They are an arachnid species, about the size of a domestic dog, but nowhere near as friendly. Owen looked over at Owen. The console displayed biometric data on the spiders. Owen continued reading. Their webs are 10 times stronger than steel, but have 1/3 of the weight. The scientists were trying to find a way to infuse it into an alloy, but the spiders don't produce much. Ryuk frowned. Let me guess. They made them bigger. Owen nodded. Oh, but that's where things get worse. They breed by injecting eggs into a host. The eggs attach to the spinal cord, and when they hatch... Don't say it, Ryuk pleaded. Owen had gone slightly pale. They eat their way out. Ryuk shuddered. Oh, but that's not all. Owen continued. What now? They take on the traits of their hosts. One of their technicians got infected and birthed before they knew what was going on. The resulting spiders showed a greater intelligence than the others. Wonderful, but that doesn't explain where the colonists are, Ryuk commented. True, and the state of the colony doesn't suggest there is an infestation, Owen added. Suddenly there was a loud clunk that sounded suspiciously like a heavy door unlocking. Sir, we have a problem, Cyrus shouted. The large door began to unlock and slowly open. Inside, the clones could see movement. Get back, Ryuk shouted as spindly legs curled around the door frame. They pulled a large body through the door. The spider reached its full height. Even the Daleks backed up. Only Blaine stood his ground as the spider advanced towards the group. Blaine, get back! Ryuk shouted, but Blaine did not move.
I will cover your retreat. Move!
Almost on cue, a group of smaller spiders emerged from the room and charged toward them. Ryuk reluctantly left Blaine. May the fates be with you, trooper!